You know, it seems like every bait making channel on YouTube right now is doing 8-bit baits this, 8-bit baits that, 8-bit baits everywhere. It's just all over the bait maker's, genre. Well, today's going to be no different. Alright, y'all, we are back. Got a new bait making video, and yeah, we're going to be doing some 8-bit baits again. I know I've done them in the past, and those baits turned out great. A lot of those baits are in my normal inventory now that I'm selling to customers, and they are flying off the shelves. But yeah, I 2 videos ago I did my new crappie bait mold, and I put some 8-bit baits threadfin shad in there, and it turned out excellent. That went out to my Patreon members. It's now on my website. And Michael over at Bait Chuckin', his YouTube video, I'll have it linked in the description. And the owner of 8-bit Baits happened to watch that, and as a thank you, he sent me a little care package with some of his baits in there, and a couple other items I'll show you on the video here. But yeah, I was blown away that he was happy enough to, or nice enough and generous enough to send me that stuff. And we're going to use some of that stuff today. Definitely going to incorporate those new mixing stirrers in there. Some of the powders that he sent me. And we're going to try and push my skill set to the limits today, because I've never done what I'm going to do today, and it's either going to look really cool or it's going to look like I should go back to the drawing board. But either way, it should be a lot of fun. No, I've learned my lesson. No more tips and tricks videos. No one likes them. No lecturing. I'm done. I take the hint. Uncle, I'm done. So, just bait making videos from here on out. And yeah, let's have some fun and see what we can come up with. Yeah, so before we get started on this bait today, I tried to film this already. Earlier last week, I set the cameras up, got the powders out, and I made a cool product. I loved it. But, you know, first of all, I filmed it in a wrong format that my computer couldn't process. I think it was in 4K or something with my other GoPro camera. And my computer couldn't process the footage anyway. And I kind of just went basic like all the other channels are doing. And the color was gorgeous. I loved it. And I just kind of felt like, you know, my whole point of doing my channel and making the baits that I make is because I try to be different than everyone else. So that's what I'm going to try and do today. It's going to be a lot of steps. It's going to be a lot of work. And it might not even turn out good. But we're going to try and apply the 8-bit baits powders a little differently than the usual way people do it. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. I mean, I do it for these guys, and those are, I mean, that's just a beautiful bait. I use, put the hollow shift in, you add a few drops of black, and that hollow shift just screams colors at you. It's amazing. But what we're going to do today, I'm just trying to change it up a little bit, and hope you enjoy it. Alright, y'all, we are back. We got a fresh cup of Dead On Crawl Tube blend ready to go. And today our target, what we're trying to do is something like that. I've always wanted to do a crappie. I've never really just manned up to try and do it yet. So today I'm manning up, and I think I got the tools I need in some 8-bit Baits hollow shift. And if you've ever seen a crappie, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've at least caught a crappie or seen pictures of one. They look like that's a simple thing, but those patterns, the speck patterns on the side, and if you hold a crappie up close and in the sunlight, you see a bunch of other colors than what you're seeing in that picture on there. So I'm gonna try and use some of these hollow shifts from 8-bit Baits today to bring those colors out, and I'm gonna try and fool you into thinking I've spent a lot of time, drawing those specks on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fool you with flakes. I'm going to try and get all these flakes to do the work for me. And yeah, let's get started. So, my first goal is to get a whole bunch of flake into this cup. And I'm going to use all three, like the extra large, the medium, and then the small. And I just kind of want to see if that gives us an illusion of working. Because there is a lot of stuff going on the side, on the belly of those crappie. So I got 2 quarter teaspoons of the 0.62 flake. We're going to go 1 full of the 3/5. And then we're going to go like a half of the 0.15. About a quarter teaspoon. And we'll see what that gives us. I might have to add more and adjust. Here's one of those new stirrers I got from 8-Bit Baits. And full disclosure, yes, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, yes, he did send me this stuff. There was no condition. It was unconditional. He just wanted to thank me. And so I'm kind of thanking him by helping show you guys what all these hollow shifts can do. And I'm not even going to have to bring out the siren scales and stuff. I'm going to do that in a later video. But kind of look at the side of that knife there. You almost got the sense of a crappie pattern. And that's kind of what I was thinking, how I was thinking it was going to work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more of each one, because the way I'm going to put that on there, I just think I'm going to need a little more. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and we'll be right back for the next step. Alright, y'all, we are back. And our mold of choice today is going to be the Angling AI, I think it's 7 1/4 inch swim bait. For something like this, I really wanted a lot of area to work with on the surfaces here. And I mean, crappies, I mean, this is a 7 1/4 inch crappie would, I mean, it's not a keeper, but it's definitely a bass keeper. A bass will eat it, and the game wardens won't even care what size it is. So that's what we're using today. I'm going to grab this plastic out of here out of the microwave here in a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that different sized black flake, and I'm just going to pour that plastic, and I want it to go all the way down. I want to leave the belly kind of open in here at the bottom, because you can see, I mean, if a little bit gets down there, I'm not going to waste too much time worrying about it. But I want it to get gradually thinner. Like, I don't want that belly, just that little like millimeter down here at the bottom. I just want that to be open, and you can see a white belly with whatever we decide to. I haven't even decided how to do I'm just trying to take this one step at a time. So let me grab that plastic, give it a good, mix, let it kind of mix a little bit. I set these on my hot plate, and I just set it to warm. Like, it's not hot at all. I just kind of didn't want it to be, like, I don't want that plastic to seize up too fast after I pour it, because I kind of want it to randomly scatter a little bit. Not that this is gonna like keep it melted or anything, but I just didn't want it to seize up as quick as it would on that cold metal if I had just taken these right off the shelf. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna start at the back, kind of angle it down. And you can kind of still play with it. See how I got it? I want it thicker of flake on the top than I do on the bottom. And I mean, that almost kind of looks like a nice little crappie pattern right there. I probably could have added more of the bigger flake, but I think we're good. Let those fall down further. And we're not at a point of no return now. So if I pour it and I don't like it, like, I still want it to come down a little further here. So I'm just going to let this seize up, and I'm going to remelt it, and I'll pour it again. We're at a good spot here where we can really be sure about how we want this on the mold. But I gotta tell you, that kind of looks very crappie-esque to me. I almost want to add more of that big black flake. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and add more flake. I'm gonna redo this one, and we'll be right back. All right, we're right out of the microwave again. I remelted it. Let's try this again. Try and get it right. There we go. So I'm gonna try and get it a little further down the belly, and then I'm gonna try and manipulate it more so it kind of comes out the top. So we'll start way further back. And I'm pouring a good healthy amount in there. And see how I'm kind of getting the bulk of it to build up in the top part? That's kind of what I want. That's exactly what I want right there. That looks like a random crappie pattern to me. And this is just step one, y'all. The way my mind is working on this right now in my head, we got a lot more to do. But that is awesome. I love it. It's turning so far. I mean, in my head, you know how it sounds really good, but now it's sounding a little more doable. Let's get this other one done. I'm gonna point it towards me now. Start way far in the back, and really let that stuff pour. And let it come to the top. Yeah. It's kind of looking like some crappie-ish pattern going on there, right? Alright, so I'm going to be doing 3 of these, but I'm only going to do 1 on the video. Just so I can have 3 at the end, because these might be prizes I give away later. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how good the video does. But yeah, look at that. That looks like a crappie pattern if I ever saw one. The best you can do without, you know, drawing it each little speck on the side of the fish, or the bait on there. So I'm going to do the other molds real quick, and we'll be right back with the next step. Alright, we are back, y'all. And I got all the molds poured. These are the 2 I decided I'm going to go with on camera, because the pattern just kind of turned out the best. And I hit all of them with the heat gun, so I've done that many times in the past, so I'm just trying to keep the video shorter than normal. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to utilize these amazing hollow shift powders by 8-Bit Baits. The first one I'm going to use is Borealis. This is like your, I mean, if you're gonna go and get into 8-Bit Baits and you're gonna go to the website and buy stuff, I think they're also available on Tackle Warehouse. But this is your entry level. This is amazing. This is gonna work on so many different things. Just don't get this size. Just get this size. If you get the Borealis in the smaller size, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to wish you had more. You save money, I think, if you get the bigger size than you would if you bought 5 of the smaller ones. So, I forget what they cost, but I mean, 8bitbaits.com. Just go there and check it out. But we're going to use the Borealis first. It's amazing. You're going to want it in your inventory if you're a serious bait maker. And we're going to be doing some dusting. Got to get the paintbrush out. So, with crappie, you think, like, when you think of a crappie, you have cut like the kind of the whitish belly, and then it kind of gets greenish blue on the top. Those are the colors that come to mind when you think of crappie. But when you have a crappie in your hands and you're in the sunlight and you just caught one, you're taking the hook out, you can see a bunch of different stuff going on close up to a crappie. And we're just gonna try and exploit that fact here. This is going to be one of those deals where I'm just using what's on the lid. I'm trying to less is more. That's my philosophy. Usually, definitely going to be the case here. And I'm just going to kind of put it like right where you expect the white belly to turn into that greenish dark color at the top of the fish. I'm just going to try it right into between that area. I'm just going to put just ever so slight amounts of this, and I want it to be able to shine through, right through those all those different black flakes. And I'm going to go all the way back, maybe a little bit more, but I want this to really be subtle, but I think less is more in this case, y'all. I'm going to go right down there, maybe a little more. But trust me, this Borealis, I use it as a lot of my crappie baits as the belly in a lot of my baits, and I mean, it just screams in the sunlight. So I've never dusted it before. This is the first for me to dust it. But sometimes I'll pour just clear plastic on one of these, and I'll just go and I'll dust different powders on it, as you can see here. And here's that Borealis. So I went and dusted a bunch of different powders on here, and then I get this old piece of black plastic that I just had laying around, and I just kind of bounce it off of that, and I can kind of see that that's a little bit of what I'm going for, but I really don't want it spread on thick. Thinner than I have it right here even. So that's another tip for you. That's just something I do just to kind of get ideas and see how it's going to look and compare different colors. Hey, maybe 2 different colors I'll paint on there, and I would never have thought of using those 2 colors, but they look good. They look a little. It's a different way of that color expressing itself. Whenever you do that, look at them that way. So I've applied all the actual powder I'm going to apply, but I'm just trying to really spread it out. I'm just spreading it around. I don't want any like built up powder here. This is just going to be a light little sheen that's hopefully going to take your breath away whenever we open the mold later. And yeah, so I got kind of around underneath the eye, above the eye. That's going to be plenty, I think. Definitely want it subtle, subtle, subtle. Alright. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. If it comes up here further, I'm not going to cry about it. But the reason I want it is I want it right at that kind of between the belly and that top color of the crappie. God, I can't wait till this bait's done. I really want to see it. Maybe a little bit in the head too. Sometimes you see. I'm just if there's anything on the brush, it's going to get applied to the plastic. I'm not adding any more. Very sporadic. Then the next color, I'm going to wipe this brush off. I'm going to use this color called San Andreas, and that's the color I used in that bait that I showed you earlier, that I tried to film and the footage wouldn't work. This with some black is what I got that color. How I got that color, and it is absolutely breathtaking up close and personal. You got to see it for yourself. Yeah, this San Andreas thing is another. I mean, just look at that. That is just. Ugh. And that's going to be kind of below the, I'm going to use it just below that line of the Borealis we did. Down here. I don't want it to go all the way down in the belly, but I just want it to transition from this. This looks like a greenish gold, and then it's going to go into that bluish green Borealis. And I'm like last time, I'm just taking a little bitty bit. And I'm just going to lightly... See, that right there I had too much, but I can try and spread it around. There we go, spread around. And that's why these everyone kind of the biggest criticism I've heard about these is it's such a small size, but you don't need that much. A little bit goes a long way. Like, I haven't even taken a scoop out of this yet. I'm just kind of dusting little bitty pieces on to the plastic. Maybe a little more. I didn't get much on there. Doesn't look on video or in real life like I'm doing much, but it's gonna come out with the other colors. Or at least I hope it does. This is all, I'm just kind of hoping and praying everything works on this, because this is my test run. I've never done a crappie before. Alright, y'all, we are back out of the microwave. I did a little degassing, but I have a feeling when I get start stirring all this stuff up, and I'll need to reinsert it into the degassing chamber. But we're going to try and build this belly color now, and nothing is going to ruin this bait more than if the belly and the top are different opaque levels, in my opinion, and if they're both too opaque. Because you're going to... I don't want you to look at it and see that I poured a skin layer, then did some... I want it to kind of blend together. The less defining lines that these two layers are going to give us, the better. So I'm going to start off with some pearl. Anytime I do any kind of fish belly, fish skin, I want it pearlized somehow. More often than not, anyway. So I'm going to add, I think usually about half a teaspoon. I got 3/4 cups in there of melt ready to go plastic. And I'm just going to get like half of a healthy half of a 1/4 teaspoon in there. And we'll just see how that looks at first, and move from there. I'm working with small amounts of plastic today, so it starts to seize up really quick. And I can't stop talking for some reason. So I think that's a nice, it's going to give you, no matter what we do, it's going to give you a nice pearlized, effect on that color. So we got the pearlized effect. I want to add some white, but it's dead on white. So we want to be really, we want to use this sparingly. One drop will go a long way. So let's put like 1 drop in there and see how that does. I can already tell we're going to need some more. Alright. Let's put 2 more. So we got 3 total. It's going to thicken it up a little bit. I think I can go, maybe let's go 1 more, so that'd be 4 total. And I kind of gauge how close I have to go to see the knife in the cup. So I think we can go, let's go 2 more drops, and we'll call it good on the white. So we got 6 total drops. I don't think that's going to be too much. You definitely don't just want to turn it upside down and start squirting it, because it'll look like a melted crayon. Man, I think we can go 2 more drops. And then that's it, I swear. 8 drops total, and we're done. Alright, so we're already starting to seize up. I can feel it in there. I think that's gonna be good. That's gonna be pretty thick. But I mean, I can still see the knife from far away in there. You know what I mean? And it's a nice meaty cavity in there for the bait. So I think that'll be plenty. And what I want to do is one of those Chris Jones tricks. I want to apply some yellow, but I don't want to pour a whole drop in there. So what does... That just squirted all over me. Chris Jones, since I have some on the table right here, let's see. I don't want to use a full drop, but I definitely want to get some of that yellow. Let me just do it this way. I just want a little, like half a drop. See that? And we're just going to mix that in there. And now it's not like it's kind of like an off-white, which is kind of what that crappie looks like. I can see it, but I want a little more. So let's go another like bit of a drop. And I think that's like 3/4 of a drop, basically, what I've put in there. Yeah, see how it's like an off-white? That's kind of what that crappie's going to want to look like. And it's got pearl, it's off-white, I think we're good. That's all I want. I'm afraid I might have been good at 6 drops of white, but you know, sometimes I think that, and then I needed more anyway. So we'll go with this for now. 8 drops of white, like 3/4 of a drop of that yellow, and that wasn't a full drop, I guarantee you. And then like half a teaspoon of that pearl, white pearl. And we're going to heat that up, and then we'll go ahead and pour the belly and get started on the next color. Be right back. All right, got the belly color out. I decided it was a little thick, so I added a little bit of warm oil in there to maybe dilute it just a tad, but I think it's going to be fine like that. When I was adding colors, I didn't take into consideration, or I forgot to take into consideration how thick these baits are. These are really meaty baits, so the less you add, the more you can still get a really nice looking thick color without adding a lot of pigment. Because I've been making crappie baits for the last 2 months, so I'm used to adding a lot more to get the desired effect. But we're gonna roll with this. I think we're gonna be good, and we'll just do like your typical. I'm gonna go right to where the hook slot is. Gonna just get right up on that hook slot and call it a day. Definitely don't want anything going into the back and the tail. The tail's gonna be the same color as the top half. And there we go, right there on the hook slot. And we will be right back with the mixing up the top color. Alright, we are back, y'all. Got it. The top color we're going to build real quick. I've already conceded the fact that I think I overdid it on the belly color. I think just a couple less drops and it would have turned out better, but we're going to continue on, because sometimes, you open the mold and you surprise yourself, it still looks pretty good. So all I can do now is just really, really not make this top color too dark, too anything. So I want a little green to be in there, because you look at a crappie, they're not just jet black on the top. They kind of got some green in there. Look at some of these pictures. So I'm gonna green it up with this dark watermelon. I love this stuff. The only thing is you got to use a lot of it to get anything out of it. So I'm gonna start off with like 10 drops right off the bat. All right, let's see how that turns out. See what I mean? You really got to load it up with this stuff, but I'm not trying to load it up with anything. We're probably going to put a few more drops of that in there. But I think that's where the direction I want to go. So we got 20 total. Yeah. This is, by the way, whenever it's poured, it looks slightly, these MF watermelons, they always look a little different in the cup than they do whenever you shoot it or you pour it. So, give it kind of a, you gotta give it a chance. It looks different now than it will later. But, I also want to add the flake. We're just gonna go the .035 and the .062 because I still want those crappie like specks in the tail, because you really see those in those crappie tails. And I want to do this specifically before I put the black pigment in, because I want to see how much this will darken it up a lot. So get that pearl out of there. And then we'll go. And again, whenever we're pouring this flake, we really want to concentrate on it not falling to the bottom, so we can't pour it hot at all. Alright, let's see how that looks. See how much that darkened up? I mean, that looks really good and dark like that. But we're not just going to leave it. We're going to put a couple drops of black in there as well, but I think that's going to look cool in the tail. As long as I can stop it from falling to the bottom, it should look pretty cool. Alright, let's go. 1, 2. 2 drops. And that might just do it. We'll see. God, that looks just like crappie, y'all. I mean, that looks so cool. Alright, 2 more drops. And I think I'm going to just use my better judgment, and no matter what, just keep it at that. Man. You gotta remember, it's gonna be thick, because that top, it's a big meaty top part of that bait, so I'm gonna go 1 more drop. And that's it. We're gonna go with that. But look at that. That is so cool. Alright, so I'm going to heat this up, probably have to vacuum it again, and we'll be back whenever we're ready to pour. Alright, y'all, we are back. I got the top color. I'm going to pour it super cold, like below like 330. A lot of that big flake in there. It's really heavy, and I don't want it to fall to the bottom. I want it to suspend. So I'm really going to try and let it cool off to the proper temperature, which would be anything under, I don't know, like 330. Let me get a reading on it real quick. Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and start pouring. Get some down in the tail. I don't open pour enough, so I'm a little rusty. Alright, there's one. I'm going to go ahead and keep pouring these, and we'll be back when it's time to unveil. Alright, y'all, we are back, and I just happen to have one of these molds cooled off. I can touch it by hand. I think we're good to go. This is the moment of truth, y'all. If it turns out ugly, I'm sorry, but I still think no matter how this turns out, the 8-bit baits are amazing. They're gonna... We just used a little bit of them, but I think they're gonna shine through and really add a lot of pop to this bait. So let's crack her open and see how we did. Alright, get a little flashing. Oh boy, y'all. Man, that's really... I must have got that mold really hot. But the bait, what do y'all think? You can kind of see that that blue coming out. I love how it looks in the tail. That darkened watermelon. You see that 8-bit bait's screaming through there. Just like the fish would in real life, you'd only see it occasionally whenever you're holding it up close. You see some of that San Andreas come through there too. Let's take it outside and see how it looks. Oh man, y'all. That is so much better than I thought it was going to turn out. I mean, just look at that. Look at those 8-bit bait. You guys saw how I barely put any on there. Just amazing. And that crappie pattern really kind of worked out for us that way. That is all flake. I didn't put any dotting paint or anything. Alright, let's go back inside and put an eye on. Alright, let's get that eye on there. I really hope that San Andreas and that Borealis is coming through on the video. I'll know when I'm editing it later, but man, it is so much like I was this close to not making this today. I was gonna go and do what I did the other day, which was great, and you saw it. I was happy with it, but this is really something that I'm pretty proud of. It looks a lot darker on the top, but I think after we take this out, once you get it out, I almost just didn't do this because I didn't think I could do it, and I was worried about messing up. But you gotta take chances, you know, and try to be different. Look at that Borealis is just beautiful back there. 2 steps that I would change to make this a better bait is I would have taken 2 drops out of the belly of the white and added a little more of the yellow, because this is wider than I was hoping it to be. I'd add a little more yellow. When I was dusting, I would have put just a tad more of that St. Andreas, because you can see that St. Andreas on there. But I think a little bit more would have been great. The Borealis was perfect, and I would probably just lighten up that top color. I didn't put hardly any pigment in there, but all that flake that I dropped in there really darkened it up. You can see that, you can kind of see through the tail. But other than that, those couple steps, and you have a beautiful crappie bait. For my first time ever trying a crappie, this is far better than I ever imagined I would be able to do. So yeah, thank you so much to Bait Chuckin', Michael over at 8-Bit Baits. I think that has the crappie effect I was going for. We can all make this a better bait if we just lighten up some of the pigment, but there is no complaints with that hollow shift powder I used from 8-Bit Baits. That Borealis, I mean, look at that Borealis back there, and that you can kind of see that St. Andreas, but I could have put more on there and it would have looked better. We'll do that in the next one. Tell me what you guys think. I want to send one of these to Michael over at Bait Chuckin' to thank him for sending me that stuff. That was so generous of him. And like I said, it was unconditional. He didn't say plug my company or anything. I just decided to do it. But I made 2 other ones, and I want to give those away as well. If I can get, let's see, on a good video I usually get about 20 likes and 800 views. If I can get over 1,000 views and let's say 30 likes, just comment. If you want to be in the running, just comment, like, share, whatever you got to do to help me out. Like and share. Just write shared, saying that you shared it, and you'll be in the running on my on one of these, if you want one. But yeah, couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I could make a couple small adjustments and it'd be better, but you know, I just winged it today and it turned out pretty okay. So that's going to be the video today, y'all. Thank you for watching, and tight lines.